What does it mean to be terrifying? Is it possessing the power to destroy the world? The political leverage to act as you please, pulling strings from the background? Is it destroying a country for decades and forcing the citizens to eat failed smile fruits? What about raining down meteors, or having a 3.5-ton force of nature chasing after you? Or perhaps it is the ability to turn anyone you meet into an ally. On a surface level, Admiral Kizaru is just a laid-back, weed-smoking, absent-minded, careless buffoon with no regards towards collateral damage. But of course, things are never that simple. Today, I'm going to be discussing my favorite Admiral and show you why this man right here is the most terrifying of them all. Oh, cool. So, let's get to it. Kizaru's real name is Borsalino, a direct reference towards both an Italian hat company and also towards a 1970s French film, Borsalino, where the main character's approach to crime was lazy and easygoing. Borsalino's face is also modeled towards the legendary Japanese actor, Kunei Tanaka. His clothes, real name, and even birthday are all based on a movie that Mr. Tanaka played in his youth, called Toraku-yaro. You can see him here wearing a suit and sunglasses similar to Kizaru's design. His epithet of yellow monkey and primary color is not only a reference towards the Momotaro tale, but also a Japanese proverb, the name of the 3 wise monkeys, Mizaru, Kikazaru, Iwazaru. In Kizaru's case, his name would be a pun on Kikazaru, the monkey that hears no evil, and this is crucial to understanding his character. It's great to see how every admiral's fruit fits their justice really well. In Akaenu's case, magma doesn't discriminate. It's quick to swallow up and destroy everything in its path. Akaenu may be heartless, cold, and hot-tempered many times, but he still has a dutiful and dogmatic pride as a marine. This puts him at odds with the world government and the nobles, especially when the 𝘗𝘢𝘳𝘢 trampled all over him like a carpet. Aokiji is calm and collected, with a warm heart. That ice is delicate but also sharp, and it allows him to isolate and capture those most deserving of justice. Unlike Akainu, Aokiji is patient and takes time to wave, especially in the case of Nico Robin. Finally, his profile is low temperature, and that ice can still crack under enough pressure, such as the fight over the position of Fleet Admiral and his new boss being so violent. Kizaru's devil fruit, on the other hand, is kind of ironic. His sense of justice is so ineffable and confusing when light is usually seen as something that reveals and increases our understanding, our clarity. In history and religion, light is a figure that serves as a tool of hope, but it also serves as this confusing phenomena that causes delusion and blindness. Aokiji is willing to seek out new interpretations to his ideology, see what multiple sides are like. That is something Kizaru will probably never do, despite the symbolism of his devil fruit power, but I could be wrong. And at least with Akainu, you know where he stands. Not the case for Kizaru. Kizaru is mainly loyal to the world order and the nobles, which therefore makes him almost an enemy of any free or free-thinking man or woman in the One Piece world. Maybe I'm missing something, but this shady character is in my opinion one of the more evil and sinister in One Piece, and actually sends shivers down my spine. Kizaru isn't just lightheaded, he just does what he's told, with no actual preference. Sometimes the most dangerous ones are those who don't think about it before they do it. He's bright outside, but cloudy on the inside. He is truly the only passive person as an admiral that has neither support nor opinion on anyone or anything at all. He just keeps at his job, non-caring. And all of this makes him the perfect marine or soldier to follow orders and be neutral without outside bias. 𝘗𝘀𝑻 made a brilliant video on this subject, and he made an analogy that drew between the color spectrum and the spectrum of justice. It's simple, yet explains so much about this mysterious character. But I'm going to present something different to the table. From what I've seen and read, Kizaru's Unclear Justice has always been a hot topic of debate, and to be honest, people don't give enough credit to just how nuanced this belief actually is. You see, the true form of unclear justice in this context isn't the aspect of unknown or uncertainty, but rather it is in the sense of being inaccurate. Let's think about this for a moment. Kizaru probably understands that if he continues to blindly follow orders from the world government, then he would quickly stop being a figure of justice, solely because that would literally be him playing like God. What if Kizaru is forced to follow the path of inaccurate justice because he chooses to let fate play out instead? If Kizaru truly wanted to, he could easily exact complete or absolute justice upon the world. But then what state would that leave the world in? Now we have a world free from crime, which allows the world government to do literally whatever they want, and it would be a nightmarish world. Kizaru understands this, so he chooses the path of unclear justice where he gives fate a chance. It could be implying that he's unsure of the justice of the Marines in general, doubting that what they've become is right. He could only be staying to see if it is worth keeping in the future, waiving his options so to speak. Kizaru doesn't need to consider morality. When 𝘍𝘁 was first introduced, he commented that even though 𝘍𝘁 causes collateral damage, the only thing that mattered was that he was strong. It goes back to that pun on Kizaru, the monkey that hears no evil. I believe his unclear justice makes him not stress out as a normal Marine would in the face of danger or moment of decision. I don't even think he's all that in terms of raw power, but him remaining calm gives him an advantage over his opponents. To me, he does this on purpose. One thing I will point out though is that he's not quick or efficient to kill. In fact, he's probably the most interrupted character in the entire series. That also contributes to the unclear nature of his justice. Is he acting solely because he wants to be interrupted, or did he intend to go through with it and get foiled? This happens with Hawkins, with Zoro, Oars Jr., Luffy, and Lost Submarine. Is it really just a cat and mouse game to make his opponents feel overwhelmed? Remember when he shot the key Luffy was holding instead of Luffy himself? Aside from plot armor, why is that? It seems like all his actions can be constructed as actually giving the protagonist a chance to escape certain death. Or is there a much more sinister goal at hand here? Is Borsalino a sociopath? Well, that's a difficult question. I personally believe he has what I call sociopathic tendencies. So while he might be or feel like one, he's not bloodthirsty. More on his own survival, following orders, but not looking out to hurt other people on purpose. He's like between the red pill and the blue pill, representing the space in between time. Chaos, a lack of clarity in the continuum. What's worth thinking about is Kizaru's fighting style, and his very condescending and sarcastic nature. He doesn't mess around when he actually fights, as seen when his first action against the Straw Hats was attempting to crush Zoro's head. Against Oars Jr., he was going for a headshot. He has no qualms about killing people, nor drawing out fights. But this is hypocritical, because I already mentioned his pattern of drawing out fights. If anything, you can argue that Kizaru operates in an almost sadistic manner. He seems to thoroughly enjoy injuring and mentally breaking his opponents, toying with them, flaunting his superiority both through indifference and casual dominance. Let's look at the supernovas for example. During the fight, he can move at the speed of light, so the supernovas would be absolutely no problem for him. He could have taken them out instantly, without them noticing, but he didn't. Instead, he decided to draw it out and taunt them, such as when he watched them fight the pacifista and struggle. He sat back and basically just said, "No matter what you do, you will make it out alive. Even if you manage to beat the pacifista, you're no match for me." And what did that do? It absolutely tore them apart, because they knew that he was right. However, the supernovas still survived. Why? Because Sentomaru called and told him that his order was to wipe out the Straw Hats. While he easily could have just said, "Oh, Sure, just let me arrest or kill these supernovas at the literal speed of light, then I'll be over there immediately. He didn't do that. Instead, he just went and did what he was told. That's what makes him so scary. Remember those criminals that he questioned? His cheeky and carefree attitude there is relevant. He knew the criminals tried to shoot him, but by ignoring this and asking them mundane questions instead, he played up how little it means for him to be shot. Kizaru is essentially using scare tactics rather than wasting time fighting nobodies, and in my opinion, that's smart. During the Marineford War, Kizaru initially went out of his way to strike down Luffy, seeking to illustrate their gap in strength. He would go on to reproach Luffy for his inadequate strength and taunted Whitebeard for rallying behind the weaker pirate. What if Kizaru shot the key in order to instill a true sense of despair for the young pirate? That at that moment, there was no hope. Finally, this makes me think about the 𝘉𝑗𝐻𝑎 incident. If Kizaru was there instead of 𝐷𝑗𝐻𝑎, he would quickly shoot both Saul and Robin through the heart. Akainu would kill them both, but he would still have to justify in his head that it was the right choice. Whereas Kizaru doesn't seem like he would think about what he's doing except in terms of where he's aiming and charging the shot. So what can we say about Kizaru's future in the story? Will he die? Could he become a villain, fighting not only the pirates but any so-called rogue marines who are against the system? Perhaps Kizaru is biding his time and we will truly see what he actually represents. A light that will exist in harmony and shadow, not seeking to overpower it, but is intrinsically aware of its place and purpose. If Kizaru does survive, I don't see him becoming Fleet Admiral, but I do see him possibly being an Inspector General like Sengoku after the Navy gets reformed. Sengoku and Kizaru's sense of justice are both almost alike. The only difference is Sengoku's reigning justice is more strict and aggressive than Kizaru's unclear justice. Light is a massless particle, and I suppose his justice is weightless and carefree. But speed is weight. Have you ever been kicked at the speed of light? We have seen how this man has shown himself to be quite ruthless under the surface, but he seems to have standards that set him apart from the other admirals. I'm honestly extremely fearful for the event where Kizaru is pissed and serious, just goes all out, full on rage mode. Considering his personality, I think he would be by far the scariest of the admirals, if not all characters, to see in total rage mode, and I would love it. Kizaru is a man living in the shadows while being pure light. Thank you very much for watching this video, and let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed your time, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to see more upcoming content. Until next time, peace.